ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Sing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Sing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Sing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Sing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7.
There we go. There we go. Okay. Just had to unplug and replug the microphone. All right. Active games. Standard, standard, fog, standard, 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 standard. Man, High Funds really, really misses out on all the love. Moving. Sadberry, got Poland, got Hanako, Guinness. It's Go7 time. King of the Penguins here for live play stalking. Let's hope for some awesome games. Here's some apples for everyone. Well, Mega Man, you're gonna have to be the one to hand out the apples. Hey, Sal. Now let's check out. Let's see Poland live in action. Oh my. I wasn't expecting it to be such a stally looking game. All right. High Funds except infantry are banned. What happens? It's going to be APCs in the mechs probably. Although that gets harassed by recons. I mean, it doesn't sound that fun. Definitely got a bit of a stare off going on here. It looks like Darth Noob is ahead. They're even in income, but Poland's already purchased for the turn. Only has a very slight lead in unit value and down 2 units. So Darth Noob's like half a turn-ish ahead. Poland is also falling really far back. Hey, Brennan! Poland is up time. Darth Noob has the better super, so if this comes to a super versus super, then in theory Darth Noob would have an advantage there. And there's plenty of roads. the supers for both COs cost the same. The advantage that Adder usually has is that his normal power is cheaper, so he can bank more and then use multiple normal powers, where Cole does not have that option because his normal power costs 3 instead of the 2. I wish you could make Cole work. He's just fun. He can work. He's just, he tends to be worse than Adder because he can't do the normal power spam. If I were Poland right now, what would I do to break this line? I'm just happy I'm not Poland right now, but I mean, it would probably be I'd probably do an anti-air to make a hole in the wall and then have a whole bunch of infantry using the extra movement to break it. Just like gobble up the infantry wall while replacing it with my own. Not sure if I'd go... I mean, it's usually best to go from one end and then gobble all the way over. You could always start in the middle with like this, the anti-air hitting here, killing this, and then you can have this infantry stand on this mountain. Oh, that's not great because now you have to deal with the mountain being in the way of gobbling up. So yeah, I think it's probably better to attack from this way. Especially because you've got these guys you can use. But yeah, I think I'd have an infantry kill off the infantry and then try and get my opponent to hit my infantry with their vehicles and then smack their vehicles on the counter turn. You still wish Advanced Wars by Will would make it so he gets boost from bridges. I would like it if Cole got a boost from all 0 defense star terrain. It would be a big buff, but I think he deserves it. Hey, Solofo. It would make Cole, like, he'd get buffs on ocean tiles, he'd get buffs on shoals and rivers and roads and bridges. The Cole Navy would be a real thing. So Poland didn't go as ham as I would have gone, but he also didn't use a power, and a power is what be required to go ham, so is understandable. Yeah, sea tiles. Well, it's whatever the terrain, whatever terrain the air unit's over, like it is right now. Coal copters get a bonus when they're over roads. The enemy resistance. Well, you wouldn't have Cole do that. That's something that Sonya does in Dual Strike. So you would you just have her for the removing of terrain stars. Hey, Go7 been lurking since the 80s. Big fan. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Sean Williams. I assume 80 streams. But I wasn't streaming in the 1980s. Cole would be able to compete with Jake and Adder. Yeah. I like my Cole buff. I think it's a good buff. It'll never happen. The number one buff I want to have happen is a Sonya buff. John Williams, have you submitted any replays? One of your CO ideas, units have plus 40% attack, but don't benefit from stars. Also, for every terrain star, you lose 10%. I don't like that it's a double negative. I don't like the double dipping. And I feel like that's kind of grim. Yeah. Yeah, if he's on the road, he doesn't have the negative defense that Grim would have. He has the super offense. I've been working on your own side project. Oh, there's so many side projects for these Advanced Wars games. Well, I'm excited to see yours. Yeah, I'm not going to have time to host another custom CO contest. I still need to make... I haven't had time to make any standalone videos. I've got to do some for like the custom COs that have come out. I hosted the tournament for a custom CO contest. Yeah, the Sonya buff I would like to do is just remove her bad luck. I'd be fine with it just being removing luck from her entirely so she doesn't have bad or good luck. But the bad luck makes her feel so bad to play. The version has a rotating card system. The original game is the Daisen Ryaku series. I hope I didn't mispronounce that horribly. It's your first intro into the war games. Sounds cool. You can buff units by playing cards. Ah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I would remove bad luck and remove hidden HP. I think I would remove both bad luck and good luck, just so Rishi could be happy. Okay, Poland's diving in. I don't like the situation for him because a bunch of his tanks attacking infantry, but he will be able to get some blockers. And I mean, this fighting is happening much closer to Poland. Google it? Okay, I can. I don't think Dual Strike Jess would jump a tier. She's still worse than Max. Well, I guess she's got artillery. I would remove her hidden HP because it causes glitches. And it doesn't, it's not really hidden. It's very easy to track down the HP. Open hand, no hidden info for your card games? Your card game mechanic? I don't know about that. No, I wouldn't give her +5 attack. I do not agree with giving +5 attack. I think that's just cheating the luck system. That's just trying to get all the benefit of a luck system with no downside. I would just give her no luck. not gonna stay bad. She'll be about as strong as she is now, except that she won't miss out on the guaranteed kills. And I don't want her to be buffed as in like stronger. I want her to be buffed as in fun to play. It does look like Darth Noob is going to have a very good super, but Darth Noob is also very low on time. So all of these little infantry blocks that Poland's got going on here are going to occupy a lot of the processing that Darth Noob has to go through. Come up with this attack. You have to play Days of Ruin. You just watch the stream. I did some pretty good voice acting, I feel like, in the Days of Ruin stream. I was pretty happy. Father! I used my super, Father! Please, win this battle for me. Oh, Father. Infantry costing, yeah, the extra money. The extra cost for infantry and then also the bikes is completely different capture phase. Cards a bit like cards act a bit like mini CO power, so every turn you can mini buff your units, but again, timing is key. Definitely, if it's like a CO power, the timing. The fact that you hand the cards back and forth, I can see that being tricky. Yeah, I would say that DS Jess is worse than this. At least worse than Advanced Wars by Webmax. I don't know if I'm going to be going back to Reboot Camp. I might. I was getting a little I definitely got unimpressed with the hard mode. It was very lackluster. Oh, this was at cold normal power. Very weird. The hard mode like starts out strong and then the maps are they're not even harder. Age of Ruin was a good story. You appreciate the seriousness of the situation, but it was a departure that probably rubbed people the wrong way. Yeah, I think the art style in particular was a lot worse. I know for me, the readability of the units and the maps was atrocious. And I don't really like their CO mechanics. But I do agree that I think the story is a lot better. Mainly because it has a story. So who on the map committee do you have to complain to? You have to complain to Starflash about that. At least Reboot Camp gives you the banger soundtrack. It's true. It's good. It's good. And I think playing the Reboot Camp on the casual difficulty is the way to do it. Is the way to go. Then the maps don't drag on forever. It does give you the move and shoot battleships. I'm not a huge fan of the move. I mean, I'm a fan of using the move and shoot battleships, but I'm not a fan of move and shoot battleships in general. You gotta have some limitations to how much zone of control you have to play around. I'm talking about in competitive. In the campaign, like you can be as overpowered as you want. The Days of Ruin cruisers are a lot better. There's no doubt. Poland busting on in here. Going after this poor innocent artillery. Yeah. They did explain it. It was still really weird. I guess essentially all of your units are robots. They don't look like robots. The infantry look a lot like people. Yeah, I think the simplicity of Advanced Wars is definitely its strongest point. You know, it's simple but has depth, kind of thing. Go clones, all of them. The top players that actually like naval battles, you're gonna have to go to Elise, I think. All in for roly-poly. I don't know about this though. Do you like naval battle? Hey. The brutal fight going on. Darth Noob didn't use the super, so we get to see the prime example of why Adder's charge bar is so much better than Cole's. As we can see here, Poland got to do normal power followed by normal power. Darth Noob is not going to get that privilege. Even though he does both, when will you do a competitive map analysis? I've done some competitive map analysis. They're so dry though. And they take a long time. I'll have to come up with some sort of like system for making them. Also, every time you make a competitive map analysis, you get just an insane amount of critique from from members of the community about your map analysis. So it's rough out here. You have to guard the deepest, darkest secrets. You like my ISIS analysis? Well, thank you. Who actually critiques the King of the Penguins? I'm not gonna name names. Well, okay, Darth Noob does get the normal power. Proving me wrong. Had to go in for a whole bunch of copter attacks. That is what it is. Your family down here also has chickens. They got cultinized, so they were huddled up. Aww. Chickens can be very cute. They can also be absolute monsters to each other. Pop. The anti-airs. This one probably can. Yeah. For some copter attacks. There's still going to be quite a few copters available for Poland here. Ooh, we get the road bonus to kill the infantry. Unless they're the critics. Inkagark has always been very supportive. I'm not saying that the critiques are unsupportive. I think they're always made with good intentions. It's true. Ooh. I mean, Poland's got a pretty decent attack on this lab. I guess they both have pretty good attacks on the labs. It looks like Darth Noob's like really far ahead, but this is, of course, the middle of a brawl. Poland still has quite a few units to attack with, so we're probably going to see a gigantic swing in unit value here. Said it in the past stream, but an update you want for that by web is having the info screens from the games. I'd like to be able to check movement costs and all that without having godly memory or opening another tab. Are you talking about movement costs like when you click on the unit and you can see how far it can move? I could see that being pretty hard to come up to remember initially. Oh, Darth Noob definitely looks better. They're even. Oh my gosh, they're even in infantry. Pulling down by quite a few. A lot of vehicles ahead. Copter doesn't reach. Oh, Poland needs to get the power. I don't think Poland would use the power here. Too many things used. Still quite a few attacks available. Darth Noob's also out of time. Actually, that ended up base skipping a little. I think that the unit costs, for the most part, are very easy to just kind of pick up as you play. The only thing that gets complex is when the weather gets involved. Because then a whole bunch of rounding happens. That will throw you off for quite a while. Yeah, that's what you mean, yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. It doesn't really tell you, but it's something you'll pick up. But yeah, tires is 3, threads is 2 and 4. Everything else is 1. Cole is kind of disadvantaged. Well, Cole is disadvantaged if it's normal power spam, but if it comes down to like using supers, then Cole has an advantage. Yeah, well, I would agree that I think Drake shouldn't get a vision minus in the rain. Yeah, I don't think we're going to end up getting an overlay that gives the info tiles. I mean, you can look it up in the chart. You can get it from just playing. That's how I got it. I don't really... I mean, I do know what it is by terrain type, but for the most part, I just know it by units. I'm like, tanks have 1. They can't go on mountains. They're 1 on everything, except for forests where they're 2. Roads are viable to use on this map. I mean, I don't know if you'd go out of your way to use them. It would definitely help newer players. Although, I think for a lot of newer players, when they see that that info screen, they have just like no idea how to parse it. There's just like this list of different terrain, like movement types, and how much it costs to move on that terrain, and then they don't even know what units have what movement types. So I think most newer players just click on units and then see how far they can move. Oh, the anti-air's alive. Helicopter. I think we're running low on time. They're both really low on time. So Poland's probably going to go for this lab cap. You can have like tank here, kills this infantry, anti-air can kill this copter. Just like try and block with a bunch of infantry. Maybe you don't put the tank here. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Darth Noob is going to have a normal power, so you do need something beefy. I'm going to try and take the lab. Looks like Poland's not going to go for the lab. Hammer is a big enemy in live play. Yeah. Infantry moving across rivers costing 2 more, or costing 2, going across mountains costs more. I think it's something that people pick up quickly. Really, I think the weather mechanics are what require the most explanations. Because it can be really arbitrary. Like, when it snows, tanks take an extra movement to go over plains, but they don't take an extra movement to go through the forests. But when it's raining, the tanks have extra movement to go through plains and forests. When it's raining, like the infantry aren't slower on the plains, but they are when it's snowing. And same with when it's snowing, all the air units take 2 tiles per 2 movement per tile. But that's not the case when it's raining. So it can very quickly catch people off guard. Hi, Mr. Penguin. Longtime listener, first-time caller. What's one tip you'd give to people looking to break into live play? For one, you are a long-time listener, but definitely not a first-time caller. My number one tip for breaking into live play is to, I would say, play a CO that has a very simple power. One that doesn't require changing in movement. Oh, Darth Noob just resigns. The fight over here is definitely starting to look like it was losing. But playing someone like Olaf or Drake will take a lot of processing time off your hands. GG. I think the time pressure got Darth Noob in this big old brawl over here. GG. Do we have any high funds games? No, they're all standard in Fog. Bisto. We can look at this one though. We've got Grim versus Andy. You know what I forgot to do last time? Let's make these people the right colors. I also find live playing very tiring. How do I feel about high funds? I think it needs more love. It's definitely not my favorite mode, though. Real tip, if your opponent is Eagle, has a lot of time banked, good luck. Oh, first time caller during this particular stream. Oh, that makes sense. Look at Grim going for the very aggressive capture. This tank is not covering these infantry, so be a little bit of a bloodbath over here. Now, Grim versus Andy. As far as all of the tier 4s to fight Andy, I think Grim is probably the best. Just because there's, you know, chances to one-shot his units. No, 100.5, the penguin. The penguin where the ice is nice, the cold is bold, and baby, it's always cold outside. Okay. The Grandy match. Nice. Grim and Andy. You were telling Profeta that live play reminds you of your math exams in college? Really? I guess they are always timed. What is my favorite Christmas song? The Night Santa Went Crazy. Or Christmas at Ground Zero. Proper capture phase. You see people go for very aggressive captures at times. A proper capture phase can help a lot. Gets you off on the on good foundation for the game. And sometimes you can just win in the capture phase if you really outperform your opponent. You're not familiar with those? Those are Weird Al songs. Do they still do the ABCD number 2 pencil tests? They do. Not so much in like high school, but they do it in college. And you have to purchase your own tests. Tests. The little scantrons are not provided by the class. You have to purchase them. I would be a Weird Al fan. It's true. I've never seen a teacher that made the questions go A, B, C, ABC, ABC, repeat for all the questions. I have seen teachers purposely make a whole bunch of answers happen in a row. Be like, you know what, we're just gonna have 7 C's. You saw someone yesterday in live queue, they disregarded all the cities on the way to get to the comm tower? Oof. Yeah, I would agree with questioning their plan there. Got to follow. 4 hours of intense mental struggle. You go the ultimate evil route and offer no multiple choice questions. The real ultimate evil route, and it doesn't seem like it would be, but it truly is when you offer nothing but true or false questions. Even though you went from like a 1 in 4 to a 1 in 2, the true and false questions, I feel like they're so brutal. Even though you're like, if I guessed randomly, I'd get 50-50. But at least specifically in math, the true and false questions are insanely difficult. Ooh, so Andy did get this comm tower. Well, Grim doesn't have this one. Now, Grim does have a lot of extra firepower, so it's not the end of the world. Would definitely have liked to have gotten at least his own. Or their own. Oh, yeah. True or false? With this one word is the difference between true or false? Yeah. I feel like the way it works is that the teachers feel far more comfortable providing you with a really difficult question because they're like, it's a 50-50 if you don't know it. So it's fine. As a college professor, you love making tests. Ooh. Wrong answer, taking away marks? I can never agree with double dipping. So, the Javier versus Sasha matchup is pretty interesting from the Sasha side, I'd say, because Javier's power, his normal power, doesn't have that many bars. So he's going to get one, at least one. And the way you kind of play it as Sasha is to force Javier, or either force or give Javier the opportunity to use his power, but only at a time that doesn't super punish you. And then once he's used his power at least one time, then you can start really cracking down on his charge and deny his powers in the fights that actually matter. And from Javier, you're like just trying to squeeze out your power. You're going to rely a lot on your own indirects against Sasha. The idea with wrong answers take away points is that you leave it blank if you don't know. That's just bad. That's just bad. Make up for by offering bonus points for ridiculous drawings on the back pages. My My number theory teacher or professor would offer bonus points for like extra difficult questions on the back page of every exam. I don't think a single student ever got any bonus points for those questions, but it was fun to see them. In theory, we could have earned points. And as long as it's just bonus points, then you can make your questions as hard as you like. Grim cries. Infantry gets knocked down to 4 instead of 5. Something that's very funny about math, or higher level math, is that all of the classes and the books get very humbling titles. So like, you've passed calculus. So next, what do you go on to? You go on to linear algebra. It's a line, man. You've already done algebra. I mean, you've already done calculus. Now you're just going to do algebra of lines. And now you're done with your linear algebra in your discrete math. Now you're going to do basic algebra 1. It's just basic, man. You've done algebra 3, 4, 5, whatever. Now it's onto basic. Of course, it's talking about like a specific language of proofs for creating the foundations for algebra. So it's like insanely dense. A lot of set theory, but the names are just very humbling. Oh yeah, multivariable calculus is fun. I mean, it's not that hard. It looks a lot harder than it is. I can't even remember all the names of my math classes. They have you take a lot of advanced math classes. Even though I was aiming to like teach high school math, I'm never going to use any of this stuff. But anti-air can't reach over here. This copter has some serious play. It's good when math is discrete. We can't have that indiscrete math just out there in the public. Only 3 people survived your linear algebra class? Wow. That's what happened to in my applied mathematics? I forget what it's called. Anytime math gets applied, then people start dropping. You've misremembered what linear algebra was? Well, I like matrices and the equations of lines in vector form. Yeah, you'll end up using matrices in programming. You do also end up using the linear algebra in more advanced linear algebra classes, like multivariable linear algebra. Is it not even multivariable? I don't remember if it means linear then. It's math without all the squiggly bits, right? Yeah. It's just lines. Is it because he hates himself? Some math classes are not fun. Number theory I found to be super fun. Would recommend. Oh, I've definitely had some bad professors. There was one that was like a drill sergeant who would just scream at the students. Beauty in the eye of the beholder. I don't think that the metric system is better than the imperial. That's more of a science thing. That they like that. At least when I went through math, I saw a lot of the appeal of the imperial system. It uses a lot of very divisible numbers, as well as a lot of just going by the powers of two. Not powers of two. Well, yeah, I guess powers of two. You know, it uses like base 16 and base 12, so you can divide. One, of course, one. 2, 3, 4, 6. Makes life easy. The moment you can be like, oh, I'm gonna split this into thirds, and you don't have to deal with like decimal places going repeating on for infinity. You know, you do enjoy that. I'm not mixing them up. No. The metric system is all base 10, which is fine. I mean, base 10 is really good for multiplying. But when you want to do dividing, the imperial system is way easier. It's built for that. If you're dividing in the metric system, then you start running into a lot of, like, if you want to take a third of 10, then you get your 3.3333333. You know, a third of a meter is 33.33333 centimeters. A third of a yard is just a foot. A third of a foot is 4 inches. That's the advantage the imperial system has. It doesn't work as nicely for science, because science uses a lot of going into really big numbers and going into scientific notation, and a lot more unit conversions. And suddenly having everything in base 10 is really nice when you're doing unit conversion. A third of a foot is an ankle. But if you look at the imperial system, has its advantage in being very very easy to do without the assistance of any devices, because how it's all built on divisibility. But its unit conversions are absolutely nightmarish, so it's not a huge fan or I guess science isn't a huge fan of it. Yeah, that's unit converting. When you want to convert units, you don't want to be dealing with Imperial. You'd much rather be dealing with the metric. But if you're just working in that unit, then Imperial's pretty nice. And wow, Sarmentine gave up the property capture to go for an attack. Hit this artillery. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm prepared to be wrong. Go Andy Mc, go! And it's true that like going from like feet to inches is unit conversions, but that's like kind of built into it. Those are very close unit conversions. It's not the same as going from miles to feet. That's a huge jump. Yards to miles. Like those aren't really meant to convert. Would I destroy the pipe seam on this map? If I had the time, I would. I wouldn't do it in their situation. Since I spoke so sincerely on both systems, you feel obliged to say that you were just trying to stir up drama? It's fine. I mean, people can be dramatic about it. I was just trying to tell it as it is, as it is. But then you get places like Canada that use both the Imperial system and the metric system. I don't know. They're making their choices over there, I guess. Yeah, that's us indeed, yeah. Like, when do you destroy it? So you want to destroy the pipes when there's no fighting happening, because what you destroy the pipe and then you have faster reinforcements. But if you have to spend multiple turns with units destroying the pipe, then you're just going to lose your fight because your units aren't on the way. So it's something you do in between fights or before fights. In theory, you could do it with a bomber. You'd be only losing on like 1, 2, 3, 4. You'd be missing out on 3 movement for going straight down with the bomber, but then all of your other copters would have the faster move out. As a Canadian, you are indeed embarrassed by your use of the Imperial system in any regard. I'm telling you, it's got its advantages, but I don't think you would ever want to mix the systems. Because I guess I can understand wanting to do it. You're like, I'll just get the advantages of both. I'll get the visibility advantages of the Imperial system, and then I'll get the unit conversion advantages of the metric system. But then you're just going to constantly have to deal with what do I use in what case. The Imperial system often gets, I guess, dunked on by the metric fans. By what they do is they show how bizarre the Imperial system's conversions are by just choosing arbitrary units that it uses and then comparing them. So it'd be like, this is how many inches are in a mile. Look at how nonsensical that is. But people that use the imperial system would never convert miles into inches or inches into miles. So what they do is they're showing the strength of the metric system and how the imperial system like fails on those same metrics when it's not really I guess a fair test. It's like if you're a bird and you're like, look at how much better I am than fish because I can fly and they can't fly at all. It's like, I guess that's true, but that doesn't really matter. All is fair in love and math. No, the imperial system's definitely not perfect. Its unit conversions are far worse than the metric system. As the crow flies. It's as the crow flies. There are definitely differences between the UK and the US. US customary service system, it's different. It's called the imperial system, at least by the lay people. Go7 doesn't like fish. I'm a penguin. I'm definitely not on the fish's side. I don't think the imperial system is legally defined by the metric units. It might be in Canada, but that doesn't really matter because the units are arbitrary. What's my birth sign? Capricorn? But Nova, I mean, that works both ways, right? An inch is exactly 25.4 millimeters, but you can just swap that conversion and be like, oh, well, a millimeter is exactly slightly... oh my god, I don't know why I can't do that conversion in my head, but you know what I mean. Is math a universal constant or a human invention? Math is a human invention of recognized constants, I guess. Like numbers aren't real. You're not going to find a 7 out there. But it's still a model. Oh, what's the quote? All models are wrong, but some are useful. That's what that is. The speed of light is defined in miles per hour. It doesn't. So Grim's looking really good here. I was definitely worried when Grim attacked in, but it seems to have worked out. The unit count advantage is way in Grim's favor. Don't think diamond is the hardest metal known to man. It's the hardest material. or hardest. I don't even know if it's the hardest material. It's the hardest stone. Yeah, the kilogram is a like they have an object that's like this weighs exactly 1 kilogram. But you could choose any object and say this is what a kilogram is going to weigh and build off of that. That's why it's arbitrary. It's just you can start with anything. Yeah, see, they can say it's a number of silicon atoms. It literally doesn't matter what they say it is, as long as it's just always the same amount. Do you use liters of soda for... Well, I guess you do... Well, there's also ounces for bottles. But you are right that there's 2-liter bottles, 1-liter bottles, and then there's just like the ounce bottles in between. I don't know why they do that, though. I'm sure there's a reason. Like, it doesn't matter that they have an object that's exactly 1 kilogram. And then they're saying that this is what a kilogram is. It's not like you need that object. When you're trying to weigh something for how much it is in kilograms, you're not going to find that object and then like keep stacking them up to compare. You never use that object to do the weighing. It might as well not exist. Well, volume and mass are different things. Oh, you're talking about ounces are a crime for being both volume and mass in different contexts. That's true. That's true. That can be very confusing. How do I know if what my 1 kilogram object is 1 kilogram? Well, because I have a certain standard of weight that I'm measuring it against. I'm not measuring it against the item that they have in the museum. That's like, this is what we compare. This is like exactly 1 kilogram. It's the same for any unit. Didn't interrupt the comm tower capture? Spicy. Well, I know it hasn't lost or gained mass since yesterday because I'm not stacking objects that I'm considering to be the exact. Or like a sacred object. I mean, sometimes you're using weights as your standard, and those could they could lose. They'll have a degree of inaccuracy to them. I'm not dismissing the science. I'm saying how the science works. It has... As long as they stick to a standard, it's fine. And the standard could be anything. That's what makes it arbitrary. The metric system, I do not believe, is involved in diamonds being the hardest metal. No, the man. I agree. It is important what gets picked as a standard. You don't want it to be like too big or too small. And it does need to be reliable. I mean, when you're using the Imperial system, you can have a lot of fun just writing your stuff up in absolutely bizarre units that weren't meant to be used in certain contexts. I don't know what Grimm has against this city, just like refuses to take it. Yeah, no, but I agree. That's why I am 100% behind converting to the metric system, because making sure that everyone's using the exact same units is very important, especially for like international science and projects. You don't want to have those catastrophic mistakes where someone didn't convert yards into meters. You want everyone to be using the same units. Yeah, Andy's in a very tough spot. Mega Man, you noticed a mistake in your match? You learned about this one in The Simpsons. Pi is exactly 3. You can't do that with a pi. But you could say that pi is exactly 3 pi units. You could make a unit that is defined by 3 of it being pi. But you can't say that pi is 3, because that 3 doesn't have a unit attached to it. I know you're joking. Of course. Going in for some killing blows. Think we might be all extremely nerdy? No. $100 to set metric minutes. You should have seen if the French Revolution got everything it wanted to, or initially tried, then the metric system would be even more metric-y. Like, they changed their calendar, they changed their time system. They had different months. I think they had different... Was it? It was a 10-hour clock, right? Not a 12-hour clock? Yeah. Yeah. Dividing the day into 10 hours or 1,000 minutes. Each new hour into 100 minutes. Each new minute into... yeah. Yeah. They wanted to go metric all the way. I mean... For conversions, it's definitely a lot easier than the time system we have now. But it's also... a little less usable. They had different months, but I think they only had 10 months. It's true that Napoleon invented the core system. No one really says kiloseconds. People use milliseconds all the time. Yeah, now that the world agrees on the time system, time to change it. Exactly. Although... The calendar's being based on the ratio of revolutions around the sun in comparison to rotations of the Earth is always flawed, because that's not a perfectly nice ratio. That's why we have all these leap years. We have to have all these extra rules for when there'll be an extra day or when there won't be, so that we can try and get more accurate. Otherwise, you have what happened in Rome, and suddenly your calendar's like, it's December, but it's summer. Well, I don't know before they changed it, but their calendar was out of season. So they had to come up with all the different rules that we're using. What's the cap limit on this map? So it's going to be when Grim has over double the properties that Andy has, so over 2/3. Earth is too wobbly, which is why he proposed ironing the entire thing flat. That sounds like a great idea. It's true, it wasn't just the Roman calendar, but the Romans are the ones that came up with the rules to fix it. Only in Go7 Stream can we have a math talk. A math TED talk while watching Grim decimate and Andy. Here we are. In here. And the round earthers will be the crazy ones. Some people just kind of capturing what they should be capturing. I'm surprised that the countries stay as I put them. Did not hear about a flat Earth convention. Who's my favorite historical figure and why? There's this Greek philosopher. Don't remember his name, which does hurt him being my favorite. But he was all about like the super simple life. And I don't know why. I really like him. Now I gotta look up his name. He might have been the one that always lived in a pot. No, not Socrates. Socrates and Plato. It might be Diogenes. There's some ridiculous stories where like Alexander the Great goes to see him and offers to give him anything he wants, and he's like, just get out of the sun, man. Or get out of my get out of the sun so I can bask in it or whatever. I don't know. Diogenes. Yeah. I think he might be my favorite historical. I don't even know if he's historical. For all I know, he's just a myth. You like Johannes Kepler? A brilliant genius who had the courage to admit he was wrong and toss out the theory he'd been spent his life on. I do recognize him. I also like the guy who... well, I don't know if I actually like this guy. But the guy that discovered that, like, washing hands is a good idea for doctors. Because he was working at a... like in a maternity ward. And he was like, why are that was like split 50-50. One half is midwives working with the pregnant women giving birth, and the other half was doctors, male doctors working with them. And there was like a huge mortality rate on the doctor side and a really low one in comparison on the midwife side. He was trying to figure out why. And it's because the doctors went directly from working with cadavers and like doing autopsies to delivering babies with hands covered in like, you know, lovely stuff. Of course, they didn't have germ theory back then. So he eventually figures out, but like, if we wash our hands before delivering babies, the women will stop dying. And he figured that out because his friend was doing an autopsy and nicked his finger and then just continued doing the autopsy, and then the hand got infected and his friend died. And he was like, oh my gosh, it's because like his hand got infected because it was open. It was an open wound in the body. And something from that like carried over. But it was like intense because like the women were very much aware, or at least a lot of them were very much aware that so many of them were dying when the doctors were doing the deliveries. So some of them would just outright refuse, and they'd like give birth in the street unsupported in front of the clinic, refusing to go inside. And they had a lower mortality rate doing that than going into the clinic. But he ends up he ended up dying because, well, for quite a few reasons. For one, he had a very poor way of letting the other doctors know that this is why they're killing, like, their patients are dying. He kind of went about it in a way that was kind of blaming the doctors, I guess, and making them sound like they're all idiots. And then he eventually goes insane, probably from syphilis, and his friends try and get him into an insane asylum, and he resists the process and ends up getting injured and dying. This is before Germ Theory. Germ Theory comes out later on, after he's dead. Is this the turn? I mean, Andy's looking mighty dire. You have a rocket, though. You gotta kill him. I don't remember. I don't think he was Polish. Your favorite historical figure is Achilles? Yeah. You like Newton? Newton's pretty cool-ish, I guess. Newton's kind of a little creepy. Europe was overhyped for you? You cannot force someone to resign. I mean, it's their right to play the game for as long as they like. And he has resigned to GG. My recommendation is if you're in a winning position, just continue to win. Don't try and end the game really quickly, because then you could end up losing by like super overextending. GG, well played. Any high funds games? No. In fact, only 3 standard games to choose from. Get good. We've got Bum. Sure, we'll watch Bum. Never mind. The game's over. Bum's won. GG. Well played. We can watch Get Good. Actually, no, we can't, because this is a Sonya. The game's gonna complain. Oh, we've only got 1 standard game to watch. Okay. You can force a resign by capturing the HQ or killing all their units or capturing way more properties than them. I don't think that's forcing resign. I think that's just winning. This is an interesting map. I'm not a huge fan of having bases right next to each other like this. Is this double base? There's just no bases over here. This looks like a serious HQ rush map if you want. Like, kind of go straight over here, and this person has a harder time making it there. He's pretty vulnerable. Kindle's up 8K or 4K income? Really? That's hard to come back from. We also have a random blue moon infantry. I assume this is a Kindle infantry because it's facing. The next trivia category is literature. Armentine. Oh, game's over. GG. Yeah, we kindled this one. Literature, huh? Oh, I'm back. I'm trying to remember the name of the book. I can talk about literature. It's a famous book. The Grapes of Wrath. We can talk about. Did you know that The Grapes of Wrath was written in 1 year? A Modest Proposal? I do love A Modest Proposal. I'm a huge fan of satire. The Grapes of Wrath does a really good job of, I guess, capturing the experience of the Dust Bowl. That's weird. You think that's how long it takes to read The Grapes of Wrath? Yeah. I will say that reading classic literature is way more fun when you're older and not forced to do it for high school. If it's something you're electing to do all on your own, it's way more enjoyable. You also get a lot more out of it when you're older. You can relate a lot more to what's going on. He did write Of Mice and Men. You read that book in the space of a single sneeze. I have not read Candide. I have read Better Angels of Our Nature, Why Violence Has Declined. I think that's the longest book I've ever read. Maybe that or The People's History of the United States. What's awesome. You read The Catcher in the Rye because Ghost in the Shell suggested you to do so? I should read that book again because that was one of the kind of books that was required reading in high school and I did not enjoy it. But I think I didn't enjoy it because it was required reading in high school. Yeah, I remember complaining about that when reading it. I was like, I hate this character. I know, it's double airport and then but one of these, this airport is never going to be used. There's not enough money on this map to support it. And this one is way farther forward, so there's no reason to ever build from here. Dictator's Handbook. I'm currently going through the Kingkiller Chronicles. I recently finished The Name of the Wind, which I feel like is a poorly titled book. It was pretty good. I think it does fall a little bit into the trap of trying to write like a very smart character, but then also wanting that smart character to do stupid things. And it just kind of clashes a lot with itself there. say you're playing a lot of live games and each time you get a tier 1 game, you get to play against Nell. I find that hell to play against her luck. How do you manage it? So usually what you're going to do against Nell is you want to get a unit count advantage. So before she has her charge available, you're just going to like try and trade off infantry and stuff like that. If you're a tier 1 CO against Nell, you're going to have something better than she does as a day-to-day. Sasha's got maybe the best matchup for Nell in tier 1. But yeah, if Nell doesn't have a unit count lead on you, then you should be able to just kind of grind her out. Her day-to-day looks a lot scarier than it is. I don't know about overly aggressively, but yeah, I would play pretty aggressively. I also probably wouldn't tech up against her. If you can keep the fight to like tanks and infantry and just kill off her tanks and infantry with your better day-to-day / power, then you're happy. You don't want to be stuck in the situation where you have a medium tank and it's trying to fight off a bunch of Nell infantry and then she pops a power and kills it. And yeah, defensive terrain will be your friend. I would say that Rachel's a lot better in live. I'm definitely not one for turtling. Against Nell, you want to get an advantage in the thing that you want to get an advantage in always. Yeah, that is true. It's just you want it even more. Why doesn't the committee allow Nell, Flak, and Jugger into Global League? Because they're cowards. Who do you have to bribe? You'd have to bribe Walker. He's the head honcho. Dystopia Trifecta, Brave New World, 1984, and Wii. I've only read 1984. The clock struck 13. Bum. You have a yellow cow in here. Wow, JJ doubled the price for bribes for you? Wow. You would think an anti-air would be good. I mean, Bum's got an anti-air. half the roster is not too broken to balance. There's not that many tier 0 COs. There's what, 3? Ignoring luck. There's Hachi, Colin. Is that it? I think only Hachi and Colin and the Luck COs are the COs that never have any playing globally. Although Combine might have been banned now. High fun. You're just barely tiny, exaggerating just a little bit. No, a Mariner is still exists, but he's not part of the like mod and admin community. A Mariner still pays for the servers and has been seen playing games with friends. Make all COs tier 0, problem solved. I really like the tier system that Advance Wars has. It only runs into problems when there's like too few COs for a tier. Or maybe sometimes too many. Like Fog, I think, really needs some help in tier 2. Otherwise, it's pretty good. Having only 3 COs, it hurts a lot more. In Standard, you've got 4, and it feels way better. A Mariner is an actual person. A Mariner made the game originally. This game was his out of college, like for fun project. Yeah, there was a video made. Yeah, I'm even in it. You can see Walker's face, you can see my face, and you can hear Voice of Akasha's voice. I think Nell's probably tier 3, but she'd get put in tier 2. Yeah, a Mariner made the game. I mean, the game didn't look like it does now. It wasn't. That was a different YouTube channel. It's like a gaming news channel. Here, I'll find the link for you. Action Esports. Oh, it's gotten over 100,000 views. Look at that. How long have I been playing Advance Wars by Web? 2 years. If you want to see my when I started playing, you will see it in this little history of Advanced Wars by Web Global League's top players of all time. It will take a long time before I show up. But I really like the video. Yeah. Ella's really far behind in unit value and also behind in unit count here. Looks like Sasha's just doing the classic deny your opponent's power move. I'll just cut it down. You made a cameo for 0.2 seconds there. You're going to bed. Good night, Serge David. Throw your apple, that's lovely. Nell resigns. GG. Yeah, I feel like Nell has a tough time at tier 1. You're in a game right now. Standard. Fog. One's playing high funds. Yeah, we'll go to yours. Olaf versus Max. You've seen that timeline video, but most of the usernames were lost on you? That's fair. At least you'll recognize me. You'll recognize Inkagark and how did I forget his name? Oh my gosh. Not Poland. Tordred. You'll recognize Tordred. I think Deegis is on there too. Oh, you recognize most of the names in my era, yeah. Yeah, the old names. The old gods. I was very sad to find out that my local store doesn't carry swordfish during the holiday season. I don't understand. It's still the season for swordfish. It's just a random occurrence. I don't know how many people have had grilled swordfish, but it's pretty good. Would recommend. It's the matchup from your Global League match. It's a lot easier for Max in Standard than it is in Fog. So we'll see how this goes. You've never learned the identity of Grim Guy? We all know the identity of Grim Guy. I live on the West Coast. No, I'm making you hungry. Content is Grim Guy. Swordfish is always around. Yeah, well, it should be available. I mean, I'm sure I could find a place that's selling it. But my local butcher's like, no, we don't carry it in the holiday season. Like, why? You enjoy grilled swordfish and eel? I haven't had grilled eel or eel in general. What's so special about swordfish? I don't know if there's something especially special about it, but it is tasty and it's very easy to cook. Does my local butcher carry penguin? No, they do not carry penguin. How could you? You had squid earlier? There's a lot of fried squid over here. Olaf is all about using the super, yeah, to kill. That's Olaf always in Fog and pretty much every mode. It's you use the super until your opponent dies. And you don't want to leave yourself too vulnerable to being just outgunned by max tanks, of course. Max is kind of forced to be aggressive against you, because as the longer the game goes, the better the Olaf supers get. I've been really enjoying putting red chili flakes on steamed broccoli. I don't know if that's a thing that people do, but I now swear by it. We've now transitioned into cooking tips. The games have been pretty good, although I mean they've been mostly kind of one-sided. The Poland versus Dark game was pretty back and forth though. You have a fear of gas stoves? I don't have a gas stove, so I'm okay there. Yeah, we just have tanks. Patching tanks. We have artillery here. Breaking this pipe seam looks pretty valuable. Assuming the fighting happens over here. It does literally nothing if the fighting happens anywhere to the right of this point. Smoked paprika is pretty good. I was making some smoked paprika cookies with like melted chocolate bars in them. That was nice. Cabbage stew is also pretty good, and it's insanely cheap to make for how much quantity you get. I don't know if it's like sacrilege, but I put sriracha on cabbage stew. I have no idea if that's committing an offense though. The paprika is in the cookies. Is there any subject I don't like? Sriracha on cabbage stew sounds reasonable. Okay, good. Yeah, cabbage is insanely versatile. I've underestimated cabbage in my cooking for like way too long. And then I got a Romanian friend when I was in university, and they were talking about how They would just have like nothing but cabbage stew growing up. I was like, okay, I gotta try this out. Is there a subject I don't like? I'm pretty versatile. I'm not the best with talking about sports, but I can always give it a go. It's snowing outside where you are? It's almost cold enough to snow where I am. Ooh, shepherd's pie. I do like making shepherd's pie. Anytime I use Worcester sauce, I like this. I put it in my Japanese curry. How about astrology? I'm not the best at astrology, but I can give it a gander if you'd like. Rap music? I don't listen to that much rap music, I'll admit that. I know a bit about country music. I know a lot more about folk music. There's some really good diss tracks in folk music. There's one that's really dissing on the state of Mississippi. What's it called? See if I can find it. Oh, here's to the state of Mississippi. That's the song. Here you go. Have a folk music diss track. Absolutely savage. Very aggressive tank placement. I know it's a max tank. I'm surprised. I would have attacked this, I think. But at the same time, I guess Olaf can just like interrupt this capture for free. There's nothing guarding it from Max's side, so that makes sense. Or maybe it's not actually free because there's a trap here. We'll see. You don't get people who put mayo in their hamburgers or hot dogs? I've never put mayo in my hamburger. I put it on the hamburger bun. Because usually mixed with ketchup. I don't think I've ever put it on a hot dog. I would put it on. I'd put it on the hot dog bun. Ketchup. That's basically French fries. Okay, now it's not a trap. It's my favorite team. I don't have a favorite team. You're about to give me the stink eye, but then mix it with ketchup so you give me a pass? Mayo mixed with sour cream, and then you add in some dill and chives and like salt and garlic powder and the like. That makes for a pretty good dip. it's mainly, it's mainly mayo and sour cream. Some seasoning. I would recommend it. You've gotten really snobbish about food takes ever since you moved to the European region? Oh my gosh. Does that mean you got really snobbish when I said I put sriracha on the cabbage stew? Ketchup and mustard for veggies and fruits? I've never tried that. Go crazy on cabbage stew. Here. The way I make mac and cheese is noodles, cream of chicken, can of tuna, and sharp cheddar cheese melted in. As well as you lost yet to. It's good, I swear. I swear by it. You can't stand canned tuna? I mean, if you want non-canned tuna, you could do that too. But canned tuna is really cheap, so isn't that in range of this tank? No, it's not. Okay. Count it. Chili mac and cheese is good. Yeah, lobster mac and cheese, it's solid. You do noodles, bacon, sharp cheddar, Swiss smoked Gouda topped with breadcrumbs and baked. You're going pretty hardcore there. That does sound good. Baked mac and cheese is nice. I was just cooking mine in a pot, but I've had baked mac and cheese. Yeah, 4 cheese mac. What's your specialty, Mega Man? Simple and efficient? Is it PB&J? They're looking very nice for our Olaf player. Both of these comm towers are pretty much under Olaf. You feel too snobby now about cheese. Ooh, we diving in, Max, right into this artillery range. It'd be painful, but we'll stop the comm tower from being captured. Eat up tomato juice. Put noodles after cooking them and then enjoy home soup. Do you add seasonings to that? You must. That's up to you. I imagine you're doing like salt, pepper, basil. I mean, I think adding some cheese on top of, like a slice of cheddar cheese on top of that would probably be good. Maybe some onion. not a huge fan of this tank being here. I'd much rather be here so that the base would protect it being sniped, and also it wouldn't be able to be hit like inside the artillery range. But I guess it's fine. Oh, basil. Okay. Armentine's gonna give up on trying to take that comm tower. He's gonna contest it. Oh, never mind. He's gonna try and take that comm tower. Yes. Change in plans. There isn't much here to punish an attack, so I would just contest it. I like the touch of cinnamon. I bet that's pretty good. This tank is so far forward, but I like it. It's out of all these other tanks range, you know, really worry about the anti-air. Stops one of these infantry from starting to cap it. Doesn't mean it's not really protecting these guys, but I guess you're okay if the tank decides to attack over here instead. That's true. That's true. You can add whatever you want to that. Nice and hot soup for the winter. It's good. It's good. Olaf has also really good copters. I mean, they both do for different reasons. Max has good copters because he had, you know, he's got really good stats for his copters. Olaf has really good copters because he makes the opponent's copters get half movement for a turn, and can attack units that the copter was, or those copters were originally defending, and they can't anymore, and can just get in range of those copters, and they can't actually, you know, escape. And so Olaf gives himself those first strikes. So this is a very gutsy move by this tank, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That guy's a goner, and this infantry is very easy to clear out. I don't know if that tank's a goner, but it's gonna get first struck from a property and then by an anti-air on a city. I know there's work being done with the animations. I don't know if they're going to be doing any of the health things. There is purple light. Yeah, he'll come. So in this case, for Humble Roger Jr., I would just like this tank to attack this infantry, because this tank doesn't actually target. Guess who's working on the Jade Sun sprites right now? Hey! That's good to hear. Ooh, got the Olaf, or not the Olaf, the Max medium tank. Usually Max tries to stay on the base tech for as long as possible, just to be fighting at the same tier units. I'm fully enjoying extra stats. Your opponent's spooking you. Marengo's a really big map. So it's pretty normal to not have any interactions yet. You would like to share your homemade healing potion tea that got you over COVID symptoms? All right. Let's hear about this healing potion tea. Ooh, stealing contested properties for free is... Can't understand why that'd be spooky. Two large navel oranges cut in half, 2 lemons cut in half, 2 good pieces of whole ginger root sliced up, and 2 big spoons of turmeric plus honey. I mean, that does sound like a pretty good tea. Man, that also sounds like you made a ton of tea. I mean, the turmeric, the honey, the ginger, and the citrus does sound like it could help a lot. That's basically what they tell you to do when you come down with like some really nasty colds and stuff. Anyway, go brew yourself some tea to help with the symptoms while your body fights it off. Dang it, now you want some tea? My tea game is pretty weak, I will admit. I'm really surprised that neither player managed to get these done. A little refresh here. Capture. That copter looks to be in danger. We'll see if Max is able to protect it. I've been drinking a lot of water lately. Water, the true adult beverage. 'Cause, 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 'cause I do like Olaf's medium, or not Olaf, but Max's medium tank covering the copter, so it becomes a copter for a tank and an anti-air, which is a good trade. Ooh, another yellow comet mech. Okay. Max is looking pretty decent in the fight over here. Both players have shockingly little invested on this front, so there's a ton of available captures. At least stuff to be threatened. I don't know how this property hasn't been captured. Can't read the rest of your message there, Dark Raider. The 2 stars? Olaf's normal power would be insanely broken if it was 2 stars. Indigo and Magenta faction. I don't think Advanced Wars by Web is going to be adding more factions. I don't think the website, well, I don't think the website supports any more players. I guess that might be an easy change. I don't know. The artillery coming, trying to defend the anti-air. Might work. I don't think this works, sadly. Max can break through. He's got power available. I think the actually. We'll see. Dark Raider, I think that's even more busted. That is that is even more busted, it being 4 stars and snowing for 2 days. Because on that second day, it's snowing, but your power is like no longer active, so you get to gain charge while your opponent's been stuck in the snow. Do I have a playlist for all the songs I use in the streams? I don't have a playlist. I have a folder on my computer that has all of the songs. And unfortunately, it does not tell me what song is playing. It just picks them out and cycles through them without repeats until they've all been played. And in a random order. And it's like, I think I have like 6 hours worth of songs. I wanted to have enough that there wouldn't be any repeats. Yeah. You can use it's like Aha, I think, to listen to the song, and then it'll tell you what it is. Is a playlist for his tunes. In theory, I could set one up. You keep hearing the same order. Maybe I don't have it randomized. It should be randomized. Ooh, Max made a little bit of a uh-oh here. Probably should use the medium thing on this platform. I'm gonna try and kill this off with a full health and a 4 health. Or I thought we were gonna have like a sacrifice happen there. This is kind of a weird play. I would have thought the anti would. Maybe you've heard the playlist 1,000 times as the Penguin King sings goodnight. Maybe it's time for me to find some more new music. Well, thank you, Sal. I thought we did a good job too. There was a lot of unused content, of course. I think my interview was over 2 hours long. And same with Walker's. I don't know how long Voice of Akasha was. I don't remember everything. Yeah, didn't use everything, of course. Otherwise, I'd have a mighty long video. You're a music professor. I linked the video earlier in the chat. I can link it again. There's a rocket infantry. You mean like a mortar infantry? I can shoot copters. Oh. I don't think people would end up using that, but I see what you're getting at there. Have I had the chance to play Nell yet now that she's free? You mean that she's free? Like in live queue? All you got linked was the Mississippi song in the scroll back. Just didn't scroll back far enough. Here's the other history video. Can't pin it because weird emoji thingy keeps blocking me. I guess I'll pin it once in a while. Oh, I can't pin more than one message. Okay, we'll leave the other one up there then. Yeah. I gave them the the penguin to use. But they used my real face instead. They could have replaced it. If a narrative YouTube guy in classic Tetris helps a lot of new folks join, I could see that. Ooh, here comes the Olaf Super. Man, Olaf is really far down in unit count. So we're gonna do some work here. He gave intel about Go7 to the emus. I have a really big head, and the camera didn't help with it. Little webcam. That's okay. Nell is legal for competitive play? In Global League? Since what? Since when? You think that Starflash is gonna lose 20 games? Nell has been in competitive play for a month or two? Oh my gosh. In live she's free, but live is not competitive. I mean it's competitive, but it's not the Global League rating system. Yeah, the only reason I'm a penguin here is because when the channel was first being started, I asked people, did they want a penguin or did they want my face? And they said they wanted a penguin. So now I have forever been a penguin. I could change it, but I mean, I think the penguin's grown on people. The penguin, yeah, see? Yeah, I think the vibe's pretty good. Everyone likes penguins, right? See, everyone wants the penguin. It's fine. Advanced Wars already has such a deep lore. Okay. Max still has a pretty nice unit count lead here, but we'll see how long that holds. There'll be another turn of getting attacks in for Olaf here. Airports are a difficult subject. Less Nell is legal and more, she's finally getting the flak and jugger treatment. Hasn't she always had the flak and jugger treatment? Devs need like a 1 in 8,000 chance of a Cobalt infantry spawning with a crown. I'd get behind that. Like a shiny Pokemon. The guy who plays Advanced Wars and also repairs airplanes at an airport. Good attacks in there. Oh, I see. She was tier 0, but now she's tier 1, but banned in League. I see. That seems like a very important change to make. I guess it matters for Z games. Just give the crown to Fred. Oh, that'd be good. That'd be good. Yeah, I don't think Nell can really compete in tier 1. But that's what they do. If it's a CO that people don't really like fighting against, like Grit or Nell, they'll just put them at a tier higher than they should be. So it's like you can play them, but unless you're a specialist, that's gonna be bopped. More bribing to do. Cash bribes only. I would love that. If Fred survives the battle, you get a Q. My favorite CO. I'm a big fan of Andy, but I think I'm a bigger fan of Sturm. It's just so much fun to skate around the map, and you get all bunch of units become more viable when they have perfect movement. How did I decide to do that video? How did it happen? They approached me 3 times. And on the 3rd time, I agreed along with Walker and Voice of Akasha. I mean, Advanced Wars by Webster. Cartridge Sturm isn't fun because he's broken. No, Sturm isn't the only CO that's changed. The only change that Sturm has is that he's got a normal power and a super. Drake is changed to have different stats for his boots, and I think 10% less minus on his copters for firepower. Rachel's a little changed in how her super works. Von Bolt is changed because in the cartridge he has friendly fire, but he doesn't have friendly fire in Advanced Warfare 10. Jake is changed because his pipe runners don't benefit from his increased indirect range. Powers get used. That's arguably not supposed to be a change. It is a change. And remember, I think there's a couple. On the wiki, there's a whole list. I am nerfing Jake there. It matters. On like Brush with Death. Any map that actually utilizes pipe runners, Jake suddenly becomes very sad. Boosties do buff everyone. Yeah, I can see your argument there, Starbright, but in the cartridge, they do. And of course, the damage formula is slightly different in Advanced Wars by Web. That only matters when you go over 100% defense, and you attack them with a negative damage to the big luck roll. Yeah, I think nerfing combat down to 120, 120. I don't think that would get him into like fog and standard, but it would probably get him into more high funds maps. Yeah, bridges don't count as roads. $120 defense is still ridiculous, but he does have 20% more cost. And in high funds, he's on some maps still fightable at 130, 130 stats. So I think if he's at 120, 120, I mean, that's a pretty big. He becomes Sturm with 4 comm towers then. He also wouldn't. He'd also lose his unstoppable capture on the HQ. Things are looking pretty nice for Olaf now. I mean, still down quite a bit in unit count, but at the end of Max's turn, Olaf is up by 17k unit value, which is a whole turn of income. So way up in unit value. Why not combi 1 like cart, combi 2 balanced? So it's because when Advanced Wars by Web was made, it was made off of Advanced Wars 2 stats. And then when Advanced Wars Dual Strike came out, they just ham-fisted the Dual Strike additions into an Advanced Wars 2 system. Like, the reason that... So, if a CO existed in Advanced Wars 2, they just stay as their Advanced Wars 2 CO. If they are new in Dual Strike, they'll now have Dual Strike mechanics. So for instance, in Dual Strike, a cruiser can attack other naval units. Now, Advanced Wars 2 cruisers cannot attack other naval units. But when you put in Dual Strike naval units, like a carrier and a black boat, they say on them that they can be hit by cruisers. So, cruisers can attack black boats and carriers, not because the cruiser got changed, but because the black boats and the carriers say that cruisers can attack them. With no change happening to the cruiser because it's still the Advanced Wars 2 cruiser. Facts. But that's why you have Advanced Wars 2 Sonya. You don't have Dual Strike Sonya. Sonya existed in Advanced Wars 2. The Advanced Wars by Web specific nuances are disorienting. I think that's fair to say. Are these comm towers maybe a little too contested? I think they were definitely capturable, but they are pretty contested. You don't have Advanced Wars. You have the Sturm you have is the multiplayer Sturm. don't remember if it's the Advanced Wars 2 multiplayer Sturm. Yeah, the Advanced Wars 1 versus mode Sturm. Advanced Wars by Web is not open source. You can join the dev team. Advanced Wars by Web is free, and it's run completely by volunteers, including the dev team. Nobody makes any money working on it. How much the servers cost? I don't know how much the servers cost, but they did get upgraded a while ago. They're not going to open it up because of their own like misgivings about the code, because from my understanding, it's all spaghetti code. And so making it viable to be open source is itself a task. And they would just rather work on the game rather than that. They've already committed a lot of effort into making it easier to get devs on board that aren't well versed in it. They spend a lot of time on that process. So maybe they'll eventually make it open source. But it is not currently. It is their favorite line. I do know that you can use the source code to hack into the game because they've had dev tournaments in the past, and the devs would hack units into the game, into their live game. Or I don't think they were playing live, but into their game as they played it. So there's definitely room for exploitation. I don't think that's their primary concern. Well, there's been a lot of pushes to try and make it open source in the past. And most of the people that push for it to become open source have just ended up joining it. The dev team has really grown a lot. 2v2 tags would be a funny mode to add as an event. There was a tournament that did that, a Silvera tournament. I'll say the logistics of it is real rough. Walker's the go-to source on all things dev and admin. Looks like we're gonna try and get this comm tower. We'll see if it happens. Max managed to get this city away from Olaf. Maybe Olaf will get this city away from Max. Let's see. The max normal power pop. Ooh, it does let this copter attack over here. My match versus Torgrid and the Goblin Cup will go down in Advanced Wars by history forever. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I have not seen the Rip versus Voice of Akasha one. I'll probably end up reviewing it next Friday if my current pace of going through replays is consistent. It'll be my first time seeing it. Walker is definitely a great guy. Devs have definitely walked away in the past. Walker has also walked away in the past. But there's always been someone to pick up the reins. So far, at least. I mean, it's been around for a long time, so I think it will probably continue to just by pure willpower. Good night. The yellow comment mech's gonna get to do something. I mind re-uploading what part as a standalone? The Rip versus Voice of Akasha? I can try. Why did I switch to Advanced Wars by Web from, say, Hearthstone? So I joined Advanced Wars by Web. I was done with Hearthstone by then. I joined Advanced Wars by Web to play with a friend. Oh, don't worry about us, Armentine. You've been doing great. Gotcha. Well, the Voice of Akasha match won't be happening for quite a while. If people would like it to be a standalone, I can try and do a little highlight video for it. The highlight videos don't do very well, but they're also pretty easy to make. So I guess. Boom! The mech got a strike. The friend that introduced me to Advanced Wars by Web is 42, and in their profile description, like, Go7 was my fault. I'm sorry. I didn't know. It's pretty good. I basically played one game against him on Stolen Seconds, lost that game, and then entered the Global League and just kind of went ham. Very quick learner. Say, Olaf doesn't quite get the super here. That's pretty good engagement. The Neo tank is much unanswerable. Max is definitely going to get some swings before getting hit by this Lunar Fury. It was 42 that brought this on. How do I feel about having someone as a student? I did have someone send me a message asking for like paid coaching, but I haven't gone down that route. I mean, so far I'm pretty happy with covering people's videos and helping people learn that way. If people want to support, then they can always join the Patreon to help me out, but there's no pressure to do so. The Patreon was only made because someone was very insistent that they wanted to donate money. And I do appreciate all the support, though. But please only do it if you actually have the extra income. It doesn't help me at all if you go bankrupt. Without supporting the Patreon. Is artillery gonna be okay? I mean, I think it gets hit by one tank. Unfortunately here for Olaf, we're gonna get a lot of overcharge. Not what you want as Olaf. You want to get as many supers as you can. So every time you get overcharged, you're missing out on potential supers. Coach Penguin stream. You're playing a 1600 player? Oh my gosh, Solofo. I believe in you. You can do it. I have taught in classrooms. I haven't taught Advanced Wars by Web in classrooms, though. Maybe one day. You're playing a 1600 player, it's not going well? Aw, it's going fine. You're doing great. You're terrible at live? Same. You're gonna keep fighting Hampleman until you can consistently beat him, then you'll try Global League? Isn't Hampleman like a 1500 player? You don't get better at the game by fighting people way higher rated than you. You get better by fighting people of similar rating, and then you can actually gradually learn. When you play against people that are way better than you, you just kind of die, and it's like, how did I die? Oh, it was absolutely everything. So I would recommend going to Global League first and playing Global League, and that will help you beat Hampelman. He's a pro player you get along with the most at the moment. Yeah, I mean, he's a great guy. I'm not against like playing games with him, but I wouldn't go down the route of I'm gonna fight you until I beat you. Then play game. He's gonna explain what you're doing wrong. Okay, okay. The only time a global damage CO should hold their charge is if they're against a CO that can heal. Pretty much. I mean, there's other niche moments where you hold your charge, but that's pretty much the only time. Because if you're holding your charge, that's always giving your opponent time to overcharge you. You don't like playing competitively unless you win consistently. Losing in the Global League is oftentimes more fun than winning consistently. Winning consistently has so much pressure put on it. GG, that was a brutal game. Olaf comes out victorious. Snow is too strong. Max did manage to get an income lead here, but 17's about to make that equal. It looks like 17's going to get a comm tower. Max isn't going to get this one, and this Neo tank is a freaking unanswered. What was this medium tank? So, GG, well played, a brutal battle. You're too competitive by nature. Oh no! You definitely learn more losing than winning. You're on an 8-game win streak in Global League, and you are much happier when you're on a 5-game losing streak. The pressure. But GG, I'm gonna call the stream there. Oh my god, we went a whole hour over. I hope people had fun. Here's your apple for the day. I'll see you guys on Friday. It is indeed apple time. Thanks for watching.
It's Go7, king of the penguins. Of all the penguins, he is king. It's Go7, king of the penguins. Being king of the penguins, that's